Before the world ever heard the name Roman Reigns, a young man walked into WWE's developmental system with a legacy on his shoulders and a fire in his eyes. His name was Leakee, and while the world had no idea yet, the future tribal chief was beginning his transformation in silence. In FCW, WWE's talent factory, Leakee wasn't the unstoppable force we recognize today. He was raw. He was still learning how to carry his massive presence, still shaping the power that would later define an entire era. But one thing was undeniable. The moment Leakee stepped through the curtain, people noticed. He wasn't just another rookie, he was a presence. Every match, every promo, every mistake was part of his molding. FCW was where he learned timing, where he sharpened his footwork, where he began unleashing the power we now know as a Roman Reigns signature. Whether he was locking up with future stars like Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, or standing across from veterans who tested his grit, Leakee grew sharper, tougher, more complete. By the time FCW rebranded into NXT, the transformation was already underway. The conditioning, the intensity, the confidence. WWE wasn't just looking at another Samoan powerhouse, they were looking at the future face of the company. And Roman Reigns was no longer just a member of a proud dynasty. He was ready to carve out a dynasty of his own. Era 1 is where the legend began. No spotlight, no championships, just a determined fighter building the foundation brick by brick. Because before the world acknowledged him, Roman had to learn to acknowledge himself. When the WWE Universe first saw Roman Reigns step out of the crowd wearing black tactical gear, they didn't just see a newcomer. They saw a storm forming. The Shield wasn't just a faction. It was a revolution. 3 men with a mission, to bring justice to WWE. But at the center of all that chaos was a silent powerhouse who spoke only through destruction. Roman Reigns didn't need words. His presence said everything. Tall, controlled, explosive, a man who moved with purpose, a man who dominated without hesitation. Night after night, the Shield descended through the arena like a pack of hunters. Dean Ambrose was the wild card. Seth Rollins was the architect. But Roman was the hammer. This was the era where the world learned one absolute truth. If Roman Reigns hit you with a spear, you stayed down. 6-man tags, triple power bombs, faction wars. Roman turned them all into moments fans still talk about today. Whether they were fighting John Cena, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, or the entire WWE roster, the Shield never backed away. They ran through everyone. Roman's confidence grew. His timing sharpened. His power became terrifying. Every night he was the anchor of the group, the closer, the executioner. Crowds were beginning to recognize it too. The chants, the reactions, the acknowledgement had already begun. But every empire eventually reaches a turning point, and for the Shield, it came in the form of evolution, literally. After surviving battles with Evolution and standing tall at Payback 2014, the unthinkable happened. Seth Rollins' chair shot shattered the Shield forever. And just like that, Roman Reigns stepped out of the trio and into the spotlight alone. Stronger, smarter, and hungrier than ever. Era 2 was not just the rise of a group, it was the birth of a leader. When the Shield collapsed, Roman Reigns didn't just walk into the spotlight, he was thrown into it. Suddenly, he wasn't the silent powerhouse anymore. He was the chosen one, the future face of the company. The man expected to carry a legacy of giants on his shoulders. But this era wasn't just about dominance. It was about pressure, criticism, expectation, and growth. Roman Reigns, now on his own, stepped into a battlefield where every move was magnified. His look sharpened, his confidence grew. The Superman punch became a highlight move fans popped for instantly. His spear became feared across the roster, and WWE was building around him, headlining shows, winning the 2015 Royal Rumble, main eventing WrestleMania after WrestleMania. But with the rise came resistance. Crowds pushed back, booing the man the company pushed forward. Roman stood in the middle of arenas filled with cheers and jeers, yet he never cracked. He didn't fold under pressure. He pushed harder. Whether battling Brock Lesnar, Randy Orton, AJ Styles, or the entire McMahon family, Roman lived through an era of constant testing. And yet, through the ups and downs, something undeniable was happening. Roman Reigns was becoming the backbone of WWE. Injuries, setbacks, title wins, heartbreaking losses, he walked through all of it. Then came the moment that changed everything. Roman revealed his battle with leukemia in 2018. In that one moment, the boos stopped. The world saw the man behind the vest. Strong, human, vulnerable. A fighter. Roman's comeback in 2019 showed a warrior reborn, stronger than before. No longer just the big dog, he was a man rewriting his identity. This era wasn't about dominance, it was about resilience, about proving himself not because WWE wanted him to be the top guy, but because he earned it. The big dog era shaped Roman Reigns into a man ready for his greatest transformation yet, the tribal chief. When Roman Reigns returned in 2020, the world was different, and so was he. Gone was the vest. Gone was the big dog persona. Gone was the Roman the WWE Universe thought they knew. In his place stood a colder, sharper, more dangerous presence. A leader, a ruler, a force born from experience, and reborn through dominance. This was not a comeback. It was an evolution. With Paul Heyman at his side, Roman Reigns spoke softly, but carried an authority that shook the entire company. Every word felt heavier, every stare felt sharper, every move felt calculated. Roman wasn't fighting for opportunity anymore. He was fighting for legacy. He proclaimed himself the tribal chief, demanding acknowledgement from everyone, fans, opponents, even family. And then came the story that defined this era. Jey Uso, blood versus leadership, respect versus pride. Roman forced Jey to understand the meaning of power, breaking him down emotionally, physically, spiritually, not out of hatred, but out of duty. The message became clear. In Roman's world, family does not stand beside him. Family kneels before him. Once Universal Champion, Roman held the title the way a king holds a crown. Every challenger fell the same way. Kevin Owens, Daniel Bryan, Edge, Cesaro, John Cena, Finn Balor, one by one, Roman dismantled them with a calm brutality. Matches weren't just battles, they were lessons. And Roman Reigns was the teacher. His confidence grew. His arrogance sharpened. The tribal chief didn't just win matches, he controlled them. He dictated the pace, the story, the fear. Even Brock Lesnar, a man Roman had fought for years, now faced a version of him unlike anything before. A colder warrior, a smarter strategist, a man who saw the ring as his island, his kingdom, his world. The Thunderdome era became Roman's throne room. SmackDown became his empire. And the Universal Championship became the symbol of his rule. This was dominance. This was excellence. This was the peak of Roman Reigns' career. Not as a hero, not as a chosen one, but as the tribal chief, a character so powerful it redefined WWE's entire landscape. Era 4 wasn't just a title reign, it was the creation of a tyrant, a king, a legend who demanded one thing above all else. Acknowledge me. By 2023, Roman Reigns wasn't just the tribal chief. He was a ruler whose influence stretched across generations. The Universal Championship wasn't just a title around his waist. It was a symbol of absolute power. And beside him stood a dynasty reborn. The Bloodline. Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso, Solo Sikoa, Paul Heyman. A Samoan empire forged through allegiance, fear, and respect. But with great dominance comes great tension.
Some say we lost.
Roman held control with a cold confidence, manipulating every situation, every match, every family member. The Bloodline's strength wasn't just in numbers, it was in loyalty. And loyalty to Roman was not requested, it was demanded. He positioned himself as the head of the table, the provider, the leader. And for a while, the family stood united. Then the cracks began to show. In 2023, Sami Zayn stepped into the Bloodline story and transformed it into a worldwide phenomenon. What started as comedy became one of WWE's most emotional story arcs. Roman saw Sami as a tool, Jay saw him as a brother, Jimmy saw him as a threat, and the tension grew until it shattered everything inside the ring. When Sami finally defied the tribal chief, Roman's rage became volcanic. Matches with Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes, and Brock Lesnar defined this era, but none shook Roman the way betrayal did. This wasn't just a title reign, it was a psychological war. Then came Jey Uso, a brother-turned-challenger, stepping up in 2023 and 2024 to confront the leader who once broke him down. The Bloodline fractured, then rebuilt, then cracked again as Solo Sikoa emerged as Roman's quiet enforcer, a reminder that power never sits alone. Yet through every betrayal, every rebellion, every challenge, Roman Reigns continued to stand tall. He wasn't just winning, he was controlling entire narratives. His entrances became legendary, his presence became cinematic, his championship reign became the longest of the modern era. This era is still unfolding, still evolving, still rewriting WWE history. Roman Reigns stands today not only as a champion, but as a cultural force, a leader whose character transcends wrestling. Because Era 5 is not just about dominance, it's not just about the Bloodline, it's about building a legacy so massive, the entire world is forced to acknowledge him.